Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Maddles and this is a StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game from the Razor Replay Pack of the Week. It is between LiquidZenio, who is the red Zerg player in the top right, and TSL, who is the blue Terran in the lower left. TSL obviously, well, it's a team name in Korea, as in the SCV life, TSL High and TSL Revival, etc. But this one apparently has nothing after it, so I'm not quite sure who's playing on this account. It could just be someone who's just got the name TSL, but that seems quite strange. So I'm guessing it's one of their players, or maybe the team account or something, but that doesn't matter in the slightest. What matters is Zenio is up in the top right, and I'm really looking forward to what he's going to do. Now, what can we expect from these two players? It is a ZvT, so we should see Zenio go for that 15 hatch, then into a 16 pool is the most usual thing. From TSL, well, obviously being a Terran against Zerg, my personal favourite opening is the 1 Rax Command Center. The reason I think that is just so effective is because it then essentially puts you on equal bases with the Zerg and forces the Zerg to either be, well, coming at you on a 2-base timing push, or alternatively to try and take a very quick third, and neither of which is too much of an issue for Terran and can actually be very difficult for the Zerg player to do. So I can't wait to see how TSL deals with that and what Zenio chooses to do, assuming that it is a 1 rack CC. The big thing I do want to know is basically how many queens Zenio is going to get out, because some people you'll see get just a queen per hatchery. I'm personally a big supporter of getting a couple extra queens out just to spread the creep, to help the defense, have the transfuse in the mid game. I think it really helps everything you're going to be doing. Now let's talk a bit more about unit composition. Obviously TSL most likely going to be going for some kind of quick expansion into Reactor Hellions, possibly getting a Banshee as well for that double prong attack. Now I think the Banshee would actually be a great choice, because then you can run the Reactor Hellions up, or ideally the Banshee down the back first. Basically you come in with the Banshee at the back, you deal some damage to the drones, should force queens back, you then run in the front with the Hellions and attack the natural. That multi-prong harassment early on can be very difficult for Zerg players to deal with. Obviously transitioning out of that, it will be most likely, well, mech is an option, but much more common you tend to see is that marine tank build, which is just very effective. And really Zenio, his choices are quite varied early on, but obviously you tend to see most commonly quite a few banelings to deal with marines, then either infestors, which are a lot more popular, or less common now, but used to be very popular, was of course Mutalisks. So we'll wait to see whether it's Lingling Muta, Lingling Infestor. You can also get some cool 2-base timing pushes with Roach Baneling. That can be very potent, so we'll see what goes on there. Meanwhile though, the 2 gas on the way out for TSL, who does have his command center on the way from the 1 rack, so it's a 1 rack CC as I thought. Zenio's natural base is now up. He's also got that 1 gas out, so that's just to get speed. Obviously very important to get the Zergling speed upgrade, because it does make them a lot more effective and helps them deal with Hellions slightly better. The 2 queens are on their way out. Both gases up for TSL. Will obviously allow him to catch up with the tech. We've got these 2 marines poking around looking for overlords, because that is a great use of them. That SCV poking and prodding around, just taking a look at all these different bases. So far not too much is going on effectively. I mean, obviously both players are going to macro up right now. We should see the factory come down for TSL shortly, already moving that SCV across, and well, we should see a reactor come down as well soon. That obviously, it should go factory, then the reactor, there's the factory, and basically everything's going to plan. Now these 2 marines and also the SCV are going to put a little bit of pressure on Zenio to get out some kind of defense, because obviously a bunker could come up. That would be very irritating, but for the moment the creep spread should start going. A 3rd queen on the way, that'll be specifically for the creep spread. Again, that is very good. It's very helpful as well in order to get that mid game. I mean, creep spread not only does it allow you to join up to your 3rd base, giving easier defense, but as you start pushing it across the map, it gives you an early warning system, and also many Terran players will be hesitant pushing across the map into creep because of the speed advantage it gives and the ease it is to get a Zergling Baneling surround. Now this is a great bunker position, I very much like it. We should see a couple of supply depots come down. There is a switch over, and now we will see here that, as I predicted, we've got the Tech Lab coming down and the Starport, so it's going to be Hellion and Banshee's early start opening. That is going to be very potent, and at the moment you'll see that only a handful of Zerglings are on the field, but again, we should see at some point soon. I don't know if the Scout Wars got off yet, the was, so Zenio is aware that that natural base is down and is now going to be thinking, well, how can I really punish that? I've either got to get my own income a lot higher by taking a third base, or the very least getting a macro hatch, or I'm going to go for a 2-base push. And judging by the lair timing, that's quite an early lair. I think we should see some 2-base pressure out of Zenio right now. He's got all 4 gas, so mutas are a possibility. Other than that, we could see a Roach-Ron drop down, obviously Roach Speed, Bailings as well. Roach Bailing would be a possibility. But essentially, he's first got to survive that basically Banshee, and it's going to be Cloak Banshee as well, and Hellion pressure. Great work by this Queen, actually pushing forward, really trying to spread that creep as far as possible, forcing those Hellions back, and quite a lot of damage done to one. There is that SCV there, waiting to repair though, so that's all good. The Baning Nest about to finish up. Down at TSL's base, obviously we do have Cloak on the way, we do have more Hellions on their way out. That'll take it up to 6. Now 6 Hellions can be very potent indeed. We've got another command center started as well now, so this is exactly what you can get out from going for that Reactor Hellion Banshee play, is because you're putting so much harassment on, keeping all of the Zerg's forces back, you can then be a bit greedy in terms of your expansion. Great control of these Hellions. Needs to be careful though, 2 already on very, very low health. But for the moment, only resources lost by Zenio, not many either. The Baning Nest is allowing some to start morphing in. We've got the Mutalisks on the way out in the form of the Spire, so the Spire already researching. So it's going to be Ling Bling Muta, which again is less common than it used to be. But we do have a drone taken down, and it was an attempt at a third from Zenio, who is now going to come and clean up those Marines with the Zerglings, but that obviously could see the Hellions move forward. Banelings are on the field, they do bonus damage to light, such as Hellions, so that's going to be something that TSL will need to be careful of here. We do have a supply depot wall off, nearly complete, the 4th gas on its way out here. We do have more barracks being added on, a reactor being added on to the factory there as well, so this is going to be a really heavy infantry pump. Now obviously the Overseer is done, the Banshee is getting quite a few kills, focusing on the drones as opposed to anything else, and now pulls back. Look at the loss tab, 5 times more loss for Zenio at the moment. In terms of, well, what has been killed, I mean, worker-wise, 6 workers have been killed. That in itself is pretty good going, that is exactly what you want. And just taking a look, Spire of course is on its way out, that Spire going to be very, very helpful. We do have, well, quite a lot more coming down here in the form of those Hellions, so can't wait to see what those Hellions do. If they are going to get more pressure, obviously that Banshee was repaired up, but now out come the Mutalisks, and with 11 Mutas, that Banshee is not going to last very long. The Mutas will also do incredibly well against the Hellions, so that's going to stop a lot of the pain right there. Zenio, in terms of the workers count, 52 apiece, so that is not great for Zenio, because once you factor mules in, that's going to be quite an advantage. One Banshee taken out, bit of a poor control there from TSL. The 3rd base nearly done for Zenio. The 3rd orbital command finishing up though already for TSL, who's getting up that 2nd, no, that is actually the 1st starport, I do apologise, getting up siege mode, and well, obviously there are these 3 rats out already. Stim is nearly done, and this is really a good mid-game composition. Those Banshees, the Banshee and Hellions in the centre, have not been noticed by these Mutalisks, but obviously we do have the missile turret coming down, the Marines already moving up, so Zenio is not going to be able to get very far there. Stim isn't quite done, it's just clicked in. Obviously that Stim will make things a lot more easy to deal with. The Hellions on their way back, they need to be careful, otherwise those Mutalisks will start picking them off. The Marines need to be careful. A Stim does go off, but with no medevacs on the field at the moment, essentially those Stims have to be used very conservatively, because they do damage to your own units, and without the medevacs to heal them up, you can weaken your force considerably. Taking a look, the 3rd base is of course now up for Zenio. That's going to help. If we look at the worker count, 62 to 60, so still for quite a long period of time TSL's had very, very good income, even compared to Zenio's, so that is not going to be fun. Some vision being given of the high ground, allowing that Overlord to get picked off, that's going to be quite irritating. Now, while the Banshee is cloaked, we should see the Marines starting to get a bit more aggressive. We've got some Zerglings coming around as well now, and it looks like TSL gearing up ready to move out. Needs to be careful with that tank, of course. A bit of the wall off still open, so we'll wait and see exactly what comes down. There are a lot of Mutas on the field at the moment at 18. That is probably as big as I'd like to see Zenio go. He is getting 3 more. The reason I don't think more than 20 Mutas are really worthwhile, essentially it all comes down to the fact that Mutas in head-on engagements aren't great, and if you take up too much of your supply and resources in Mutalisks, and your opponent does decide to essentially just come and kill you, you can have problems. But in a flock of this size, you can already engage missile turrets directly. This would be very, very good if you can pick up that tech lab. That of course means no more combat shield for quite a long time. That 2nd tech lab is obviously on fire, so needs to come and get repaired. That SCV is on its way over, so that was a good response right there. But these mutas just constantly harassing, poking and prodding around. But the longer this game goes on, the better TSL will be able to defend, engaging those Marines head on just because there's so many of them. This is really, really good by Zenio. Needs to be careful though to remain cost effective. More mutas adding in right now, and these Marines themselves getting taken out. The Marine count pretty low, a tank gets picked off there as well. Banshee goes down near instantly, and now, well, we should see a lot of SCVs picked off here very, very simply. The Marines coming over though. That ball of Marines is just a bit too big to engage directly with those mutas. We do have a 4th and 5th base, a double expansion on its way out for Zenio. That will put him a base up again. Actually 2 bases up, so it'll be very, very nice. This Hellion's now getting cleaned up very effectively by the Mutalisks. The Muta count still up there at 18, so overall no net change. That's all good. In terms of resources lost, about 500 more lost for TSL at the moment compared to that of Zenio. Zenio is going to struggle to push in here though, just because there is so many missile turrets around the edge here, and that is really going to put an end to the Muta play. Got some more Banelings morphing in, Baneling speed on the way, as well as the Overlord speed, the 1-1 melee upgrades, the Infestation Pit, and that's going to really start getting into the later game competition for Zenio, who I imagine will go for Broodlords now. In terms of upgrades for TSL, he's getting the 2-2 melee upgrade, the Combat Shield, as well as the +1 vehicle weapons. These mutas just being absolutely relentless in their poking and prodding. Obviously, there isn't much in the way of missile turrets. There is some up here. There's still an area of attack through the center, but that's where the Marines are, so that is why you don't need the static missile turrets there at the moment. But this is a big force gearing up for Zenio right now. He's got so many units on the field that we could see a big push. Really, those mutas have served their purpose of just trying to delay a build-up of too many units. The Baning Speedo is, of course, done. 1-1 just waiting to finish for Zenio at the moment, and this is a good little position that wasn't well defended by missile turrets. That's allowing a lot of add-ons to get picked up. Marines coming back up, and I'm surprised Zenio didn't use that little bit of opportunity to push forward with all of those Zerglings and Banelings, but this is a lot of units, and here we go. We're going to have a very, very big engagement here right now. Everything coming in, the Mutalisks engaging the tanks exactly as they should. That is absolutely crazy. The Banelings on their way in as well now, but without the tank support, there's not much that can be done. The Banelings are coming in, and these Zerglings doing absolutely massive damage to everything. We've got a lot of forces here, a lot of Banelings still actually out on the field as well, more morphing in. That bunker could be about to take a lot of damage, and unfortunately does go down for TSL, but again, not much left on the ground right now, but the mutant is still going absolutely to town. Need to be careful of those missile turrets though. Could do with focusing down a lot of these SCVs as the Zerglings already are, and just look at this stream of units coming across. So many Banelings now on their way. That is going to be a big, big problem, especially those Banelings getting anywhere too dangerous. Now, again, we're getting to a point now where this is not looking good for TSL until Zenio has pretty much overrun his opponent. 70 supply up, he's getting his hive behind this. Thors are on the way out for TSL. Once they pop, obviously those Mutalisks won't be too much help, but there is the GG, knowing he just can't deal with that much stuff. So guys, if you did like the video, please thumbs up, subscribe, leave a cool comment below, and well, I get new games up daily, so check back every day, and I'll see you soon. I'm Maddles, and this was an SC2 England cast. I hope you enjoyed.